strong conservative who focuses on what matters most: faith, family, and freedom. Raised on the same farm his family has worked for 8 generations, John knows what it means to rise early, work hard, and live by your word. The lessons he learned in the fields, responsibility, resilience, and respect for God's creation, have shaped everything he's done in life. In Congress, John is a Trump-endorsed, reliable, no-nonsense conservative who puts Tennessee first. He stood with President Trump to defend our border, protect our children, fight for rural communities, and stand up to the D.C. swamp. And this is Congressman John Rose.
Well, good evening, and thank you, Chairman Pickle, for the very kind introduction. It's good to be with you. I'm John Rose. I'm a Christian conservative, a husband to a wonderful wife, Chelsea, a father, a conservative outsider, a farmer, and a small business owner right here in Tennessee. It is my great honor and privilege currently to represent Tennessee as the 6th District U.S. Representative, serving alongside Tim Burchett, who you're going to hear from just in a minute, and great to serve with Congressman Burchett. It's good to be with you tonight, and Lieutenant Governor McNally, it's always good to see you because we live in a state where we've enjoyed such great leadership, and you've been a hallmark of that for so many years, so good to see you here tonight. One other shout out I want to give is to Jimmy Duncan, who blaze a trail for all of us who are in Congress today. And it's always good if you can stand close to Jimmy Duncan, particularly in Washington, because he is the favorite former member of Congress of our current president. And so if you can get close to him, then you know that if the president's around, you're going to get a shout out from the president, or he's going to look your way. And so Congressman Duncan, thank you for your long time service. And Chairman Pickle, thank you for the opportunity to address the group tonight, and congratulations to you and the Loudon County Republican Party for such a great event. One other thing I'd like to say to recognize folks here, if all of our veterans, law enforcement officers, and first responders would please stand. Let's give them a big round of applause. As I greeted people tonight, I was struck by how many former service members and first responders and law enforcement officers we have in the room, and we should all be grateful to the service that they render to this country, putting themselves in harm's way to protect each of us. Now, I get to serve in Congress presently and am just really enjoying that. I ran in 2018. Things didn't work out in the intervening period. I ran because I wanted to help President Trump with his conservative vision for restoring the greatness of America. So you can imagine how much fun it is. Tim Burchett will tell you a little bit about that in a minute. To be in Congress right now, helping President Trump succeed every day in restoring the greatness of this country. So the one big beautiful law passed recently, biggest tax cut in American history, biggest spending cut in American history, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax relief for seniors, restoring security at our southern border, buttressing our national defense. It's a win across the board. Helping out our nation's farmers, which is something near and dear to my heart. So it's great to be there and get to do that. I got re-elected last fall to my 4th term in Congress. And so I'm going to I'm going to run through the tape. January 3rd, 2027 is when I'll finish my current term. But when I came to Congress, I was committed that the founders wanted a citizen legislature. And so I announced earlier this year that at the end of my 4th term, I'm coming home. Because I feel confident that among the 767,871 Tennesseans that call the 6th District home, there are others who can serve our state. And they should get an opportunity to do that. And I think that's what the founders wanted to see happen. But I also know that I have the energy and vitality and experience to continue to serve Tennessee. And so on March 20th, I announced I'm running to be governor of Tennessee. And I hope that you will give me a chance to visit with you in the days ahead and an opportunity to earn your vote. Because I'm very worried about our state. We're in a much better place than the country as a whole, but we have challenges. And those challenges are to the very nature and core of our state, to our values, if you will. We're growing dramatically. That growth could overtake us. And we need a governor who is ready to step up to the plate and lead. I cut my teeth in life managing a farm, a family farm, and starting successfully and running small businesses. I've created scores of jobs right here in Tennessee as the leader of a business. And I can tell you from my experience in Congress over the last 6.5 years, the experiences that we need in our next governor are not those that I've gained as a legislator, but they are more like those I gained managing a business here in Tennessee. We're hiring, after all, a chief executive officer for Tennessee. Being a legislator is an interesting job, and it's one where you gain lots of experience, but it's not at all the same as putting together a group of people to accomplish a common goal and purpose and managing through to success on that. I've had that experience, and I want to put it to work. I want to roll up my sleeves and work hard for Tennessee to see that over the next 4 to 8 years that we continue to move this state in the right direction. I am a conservative outsider. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, one of the most conservative voting records of any Tennessean. And I'm going to work proudly to support President Trump throughout the rest of my time in office. I've been there for him all along the way. If you look at my record, you'll see that I have supported President Trump at every turn, including in that darkest hour on January 6th, when I proudly voted to object to the electoral count vote in 6 states where the election of 2020 had not gone like it should have gone. I pledged to do that, and I followed through on that plan. Now, I've got 2 young sons. I'll end with this. I've got 2 young sons. And, of course, as any of the parents in here know, you work constantly to try to instill values in your children, right? That's the job of a parent. Recently, our son got into a little trouble at school. Yes, it's sad. It's true. We learned from the teacher that he had said something mean to one of his classmates. And so the teacher had dug into it. She came to my wife, and she was trying to be serious about it, but you could tell that she found the humor in this. And so she came to Chelsea, and she said, well, Mrs. Rose, the guy said something mean to one of his friends today. And she explained it to Chelsea, and she said, I asked Guy why he did that. Guy's a good kid, a good boy. And so she said, I couldn't help but chuckle when he told me, even though I was trying to be serious. So she said to Guy, what happened here? And the little boy that Guy had offended was crying. And so Guy said, well, and to understand the story, you have to know our son was born with club feet, something that Children's Hospital in Vanderbilt has gone a long way toward correcting. But Guy might not be the fastest kid in the class. And so his little friend had said, Guy, you're slow. Well, it hurt Guy's feelings. And so just like everyone who's ever watched Tennessee football knows, the player that throws the first infraction, they never get the flag, right? It's the one who does the second foul that gets the flag. And that's what happened here. Guy turned to his friend who was upset with him, and he said, I may be slow, but you're dumb. And so his teacher asked him, Guy, why did you say that? That's a mean thing to say. And the guy said, well, teacher, it's the golden rule. I learned from my mother, my dad. Do unto others as they do unto you. And so we learned we need to make a little course correction at home. That's the importance of determined leadership. You need to be on the job so you can make sure that those course corrections get made when they need to be made. Thank you for having me tonight. I hope it will give you a chance to earn your vote for governor of Tennessee.